Baby, hello, nakupenda sana. Hello mama, hello, wapi baby, mapenzi tangu. Hello, nakutaka sana. Oh mama, oh mama.
Hey manze, hello na karibu sana, and thank you for joining us for this special episode of the Weekend Edition. I'm your host, Dr. Kingori, and by special I mean special because we got introduced to the guest on this episode under very special circumstances, and we have had to do this. We had this conversation on a very short notice. Now, for the reason that you are about to find out. Have you ever heard of a doctor that treats without medicine? He believes everything is curable and he can prove it through science. He also has a very interesting perspective of life, and for the past 2 years, hajawahi vaa viatu. Ye utembea mguu tupu tao wapi, even outside the country. He walks barefoot. He's going to explain that to us, and he also has very interesting things to say about high heels. Now, yani, there's a science to hata hiyo kuvaa high heels. Wouldn't you like to know kama unaweza ivaa safely or not? Before we talk to our guest, quick reminder, Oppo wamechomwa simu moja noma sana yenye ukiwa nayo hata kwa mkutano unaweza salimia nayo watu. Hamujambo wapendwa? Hamujambo? Naomba tukaribie, tutulie, ndio mkutano uanze. Jomo, nimekuona. Lazima tupige picha kabla tuende, lazima tupige picha. I have the official camera. And everyone will understand because of how sleek the Oppo Reno 7 looks, maze. The Oppo Reno 7 checks out all the boxes for your smartphone needs. What else could a woke person ask for? Kama inakuja na 256GB internal memory plus 8GB RAM, which is expandable. I'll tell you more about that. But first, our conversation with Dr. Hamisi Kote.
Thank you very much.
Hey, maze, nimesema vitu mob sana, but I think tukiweka pande yako utazisema better.
Yes.
Tutaanza na mambo ya viatu kwanza. First of all, introduce yourself.
My name is Dr. Hamisi Kote Ali.
Yes.
I am the founder of the Human Garage, where pain is not a lifestyle. And the Human Garage is nothing other than a place where people can come to get service.
Yes.
Let's say, for example, you have no problem with your body, but you want to have your body balanced and body aligned to work well. So we do service. You come to our place, if let's say it's the first time, you got an ankle sprain, you got an injury on the knee, you got a blunt injury, you come, we do a repair. And then you have been you have been having problems. Let's say you have diabetes, you have hypertension, you have constipation, you have back pain, you have joint pains. You come to us to do restoration.
Okay, sawa sawa. So based on the few things we've talked about before we got on set, inamaanisha one, you believe that everything is curable.
Yes.
Literally everything.
Yes.
How so?
Because everything is about balance.
Okay.
When we maintain a balance of the structure, which is the physical body,
yes,
and then we maintain a balance of the homeostasis. Homeostasis is the internal environment or within the body. Then we give our body the optimum environment for it to work and perform its function properly at its peak. When this happens, one, you'll be free from a lot of problems, a lot of diseases. It does not mean you cannot get sick, but whenever you get sick, your body is able to fight it and heal itself. Yes.
Wow. So, unajua mtu akisikia service, the first thing that comes to mind ni kubadilishwa oil. Can you talk about a person mwenye amekuja, nothing wrong with them?
Yes.
People always talk about, hey, don't go for a checkup, you'll definitely find something wrong with you.
Yes.
So what is it like for a person who comes and there's nothing wrong with them?
Actually, nobody has nothing.
Everybody has something going on.
Yes, everybody has something because it starts at birth. Most of it, if you've ever watched a birth process or even on TV, it's a very traumatizing event.
Yes.
It's a very traumatic event. As a baby is coming out of the birth canal, there's a lot of rotation and twisting of the neck. That is where the problem starts. Whether the baby is born through C-section or the baby is born natural, there is a lot of trauma that happens to the baby at that beginning
Hiyo
of life.
kufanywa hivi.
Yeah, kama ni kuzaliwa normal, anaweza kuwa shingo inaninia, anavutwa, ana rotate.
So what you're saying is wrestling starts at birth.
Yes.
Okay. Ndio nikuite fundi wa spinal cord.
Yes.
How do you describe what you have learned about the human body in terms of vile unasema manipulating? You called it manipulating.
Fascia manipulation.
Fascia manipulation.
Yes.
What is fascia manipulation?
Oh, okay, great. Fascia manipulation is a method that looks at the human body at a 3D tensional network.
Yes.
So the body has a fabric. You know, the fascia is a connective tissue. It's more like a cloth. If you're eating meat and you have that nylon that you'd pick when you're eating meat that is very sweet when you're eating choma, for example, and it's difficult to cut, this nylon forms a mesh around on your body.
Yes.
It actually encases all your organs, your blood vessels, your nerves, everything is encased in this fascia.
Yes.
Now, this fascia, for it to be functional, the body has what is called a basal tone. A basal tone is like power. There's power connectivity. There's power connectivity, and that's why there's life. Now, to maintain this basal tone, the fascia has to be stretched in a given way. Okay? So over time, as we are aging or even as we go through life, the body starts getting tight. The fascia starts getting tight. When the fascia gets tight, it starts strangling, compressing organs, nerves, blood vessels. Everything gets more like compressed.
Yes.
Okay? So you start losing the tensional the 3D tensional network.
Yes.
So you'll either start a limp,
okay,
or you'll have gas, or you have constipation, or you'll have a headache, or something will go off in the normal functioning of your body. Okay? So fascia manipulation is a method that now understands this 3D network that provides a map of the body.
Yes.
And you can use this map of the body to treat musculoskeletal problems and internal dysfunction. We don't call them diseases. We call them dysfunctions, because a dysfunction is that thing that makes it not work. Yes. Because when it doesn't work, it'll give you a disease.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. So as we correct the skeletal dysfunction, I mean the dysfunction within the fascia, to help the body heal itself, because the power that made the body heals the body. I'll give you an example. If you cut yourself with a laser blade of doing anything, that wound will heal, and you will never even know where the wound was.
Yes.
How did that happen?
I read that in a book about the power of your subconscious mind.
Yes.
And I think it relates with so much that you've said there.
Yeah, and if you're able to look at it in a basic way, you'd say, in the beginning, there was an egg, and this egg had 3 layers. It had the shell, the white yolk, and the yellow yolk. And when you break this egg and you want to pour it into a pan to make it, the egg will not just fall, but it will have like white thing and then a mucus.
Yes.
Now, if this egg and this egg come together, life begins. What makes these things together to start life is called the innate intelligence. It's that intelligence that is there within the cells that will make these cells continue to do what? To multiply.
Yes.
And when they multiply, then a human being will be formed. Now, within that time of multiplication, another part that is very critical that forms is the central nervous system, which forms about the 18th day after the conception. Now, the central nervous system has a very unique property. It is the only part of our body that is encased in bone.
The central nervous system.
Yes, the brain and the spinal cord.
Yes.
It's encased in bone.
Yes.
The skull is encased in bone, and the spinal cord is encased in the 24 vertebrae.
Yes.
Now, that forms what we call a communication center. So, because the nerves that will come from the spinal cord will get out into the connective tissue, into the internal organs. So it will supply the skin and the muscles and the nerves and the bones. It will also supply the bladder, the gut, the lungs, the heart, etc. Now, when all these things have been set and inside the body, they are set under tension, like an umbrella. There's a tension that is maintained. this tension has to stay this way, because whenever it's spoiled, the body loses the gliding capability, because the body is a gliding surface. When this gliding is lost, we are not able to move our joints easily. We are not able to have proper parastatic movement. Parastatic movement is how, for me to be able to speak, I have to have parastatic movement. There has to be movement. For me to be able to drink something, you have to be able to beat. There has to be some movement that are happening. And every time this movement happens, the body produces an electricity. It's called piezo energy. This electricity is like when you rub your hands. This electricity is what in Chinese we call qi, or qi energy. It's the energy that rotates within each one of us. Now, the human body again will also be able to move in 3 planes of motion. So we'll be able to move forward and back, side, and rotate. Now, whenever, let's say, you lose rotation, you start losing energy, qi energy, in that movement. So you're not able to generate enough energy. So what will happen? You'll start complaining of fatigue, start complaining of tiredness. And if that doesn't get solved, there'll be something else. You may get constipated, you may get acidity, something else will go off. And then that also continue a kink. If these kinks continue for some time, you will be so sick that chances of you surviving also become very rare. Okay. And that's why as we age, our body is very rigid. If you look at an old person,
yes,
they take forever to make a step.
Yes.
Even their digestive system takes forever. Even when they speak, you realize their voice, even the way they speak, they're not very audible sometimes.
Yes.
Why? It's because of these movements, this gliding in the body gets stuck.
Rigid, yes.
When this happens, not only does it affect movement, but it also affects the metabolism of the human body. It also affects how we adapt to external environment. For example, change of weather. If it's hot, if it's cold. As this fascia gets stiffer, you also lose that. That's what even adaptability of the eye. Let's say you go to a place that is dark. Old people will have a difficult time whenever they go in a dark place. It's all because that firing, that communication between the central nervous system through the connective tissue to the other effector organs is messed up.
Now I understand why they say, my people perish for lack of knowledge.
A gentleman by the name Dr. Sebi said once that there is only one disease. And when you look at it from the beginning, you may think, what do you mean there's only one disease? But let's look at facts. How does life start? Life starts as mucus, right? But when you get a cold, what do you produce? You produce mucus.
Yes.
When you get diarrhea, what do you produce? You produce mucus. Mm-hmm. When your body is stiff, it means the hydrochloric acid in the body does not allow what? Yes. The body to glide. Therefore, most of the time, we get sick many years before we go to see the doctor.
Okay.
Okay, and that's why I said sickness starts from birth. I have patients I treat, most of the patients I treat will have had, and they are maybe they're in their 70s or 80s, they have had a history of sinus, tonsillitis, or allergies when they were kids. And then after they thought or assumed they have overgrown this and they have left them, they ended up developing, over time of course, gas and bloating, acidity, constipation, insomnia, they can't sleep, and then they get stressed out. When these things happen, and they happen over a very long period of time, we tend to self-medicate.
Yes.
We tend to self-medicate. We get to do a lot of over-the-counter. And we do this for a very long time. Until now, they become very serious. We start now going to the doctor when the acidity is too much, when the constipation is really bad. And when you go to the doctor, you'll be put on an Nexium, for example, to help reduce the acidity. You'll be put on NMR or something to help with your digestion. But the structure part that was compromised is still compromised. Even after you've taken your Nexium and you felt better. The
that
structure
explains
part,
recurrent diseases.
Exactly. That explains the recurrency. So with the kind of work we do with the fascia manipulation, we look at the body from structure, metabolism, and the emotional part. Because the three cannot be separated. It's like the same 3 layers in the
What you eat, how you think,
yes,
and
how you move.
what you think, how you eat, what you eat,
Yes.
and how you move.
Yes.
Now, our conversation with Dr. Hamisi continues on the other end of this short commercial break. But before to end the break, a quick reminder. In the digital age yenye tuko sahi maze, you have no excuse not to put on record every moment that matters to you. The Oppo Reno 7 comes through in that department with a 64 megapixel AI triple camera, and you can see it's very well and neatly designed, and iko na an ultra sensing selfie camera. Hiyo ni kamera ya mbele, which is highlight, iko na highlight sensor lens, na kwanza iko na bokeh flare portrait. Hiyo ni kamera inakusafishia picha hata labda inaweza kutolea mwanakamati akiwa na roho safi. Please find time, kimbia pale kwa page ya Instagram ya Oppo, inaitwa Oppo Kenya. Find out more information about the Reno 7. When we come back with Dr. Hamisi, and one of the most interesting questions is enye hata mimi mwenyewe by the way nilikuwa nataka kujua sana. Can you lengthen your time in this world through your science ya fascia manipulation? We discuss that and more, so see you guys in a bit. Welcome back to the Wicked Edition, Maze. We continue our conversation with Dr. Hamisi, a doctor who treats without medicine.
Your body needs to be regularly aligned. You need to have your body alignment. Your body has to be aligned. We assume, we take it for granted to have a balance of our organs, a balance of how we distribute weight from left to right. It plays such a key role in your overall health.
So how long should a normal human being go for service? VITs ni every 1 month, 3 months, depending on how
if you have no problem. If you have no problem once in it depends, again, it will go also with age. If you have no problem, you spend a lot of time in the office, once every 3 months would be ideal, or 4 months. If you are very active, you may need to do it maybe slightly sooner. It is say guys who like run marathons, guys who play rugby, their body will need to be constantly be put in tuned, one, for prevention of injuries, and two, to keep them performing at optimum. And whenever they get an injury, they're able to get out of that injury within the shortest time possible.
How much can you manipulate fascia in terms of lifespan if you know all that?
It has to start from early. We actually do fascia manipulation from day one. From 0 day to 100 years. So when I get a baby, I need to bring them to be manipulated from... It is, you see, what we say is you have to have an understanding why you're doing it. It is not for, some of these things are not for everyone, because some of us know everything. That's the problem. But if you are to take care of your baby healthy, you see, like a small kid before 1 year, in my opinion, should never be given antibiotics. In my opinion. In my opinion. Why? Because you mess a developing gut. You mess the environment of the gut, what is called the microbiome. And the microbiome of the gut is what forms the basis of your immune system. So if a child starts antibiotics very, very early, that kid will be sickly, will have a lot of problems as they grow. Because when you take the antibiotics, it's like throwing a bomb into a premature, a gut that is still developing, a gut that is still growing. Yes. And this will destroy good and bad bacteria. And it forms a chain reaction of drugs. I'm not saying you should not take drugs. There's room for everything. There's room for using medication, but there's also room that says you should not do it. Now that I'm confused. Yes. If I have a baby and I have this information, but my baby has not been manipulated yet, the baby's fascia has not been worked on. So what do I do when the need to administer antibiotics happens? Do I pray for this baby, or do I work with fascia? No, you can. You see, that's why I'm saying there's a room for both. If a baby is critically ill, will need definitely to be treated. Yes. But after the baby has been treated and the baby is well, see the way we take medication for such a long time. The baby can be put on a treatment for a very short time. Okay. And once you have overcome that hurdle, that hurdle that you need to overcome, that hurdle of illness, the rest should be more wellness, should be more things that are less harmful to the baby than things that are more harmful to the baby. You realize that simple thing as just letting your kids out in the grass to play, barefoot and putting their hands down and eating that and all that, that will reduce the amount of allergies in your child.
So hata me sanitizing my baby after every 2 minutes nikiona ameshika kitu suspicious, I'm actually messing up rather than fixing.
If you look at kids who grow in the rural areas and kids who grow in Nairobi, which kids have more allergies? I use that as an example. Which kids go to mostly to hospital?
Unajua, my daughter is just 4 years old, and I think there are instances that I've sanitized the whole baby because of hiyo vile nimeona akicheza.
No,
so I think
we come from the ground, Mother Nature, which is the earth. We're just like a plant. We are part of the plant of the Mother Nature, and we cannot run away from it, because even when we live here for so many years, at the end of it, we go back to where we came from.
Let's go to point that you don't wear shoes.
Yes.
How did you arrive at this conclusion, this decision, and why?
I started developing low back pain, and I had a time I traveled to Thailand, and I stayed with some monks, and I realized they don't wear shoes. They stay most of the time without shoes, and I was very curious to know why. And I ended up realizing that whenever we put our feet down on the ground, we connect with Mother Nature, and our body is filled with electrolytes, electromagnetic electrolytes, that that whenever we put our feet in the ground, it's like we recharge our body. The way to recharge our body, all of us walk around with a lot of inflammation, a lot of aches here and there. Put your feet down on the ground, touch dirt, play with the dirt, and see, most of the chronic pains, chronic illness you have will disappear. 80%.
E-town.
Yes.
Nairobi Mugutupu, connecting with Mother Nature.
It's up to you. Nobody will force you to do it. You may think shoes will give you more protection, maybe more hygiene and all that, but at the end of the day, it's not true. You know,
how long have you been barefoot?
About 2 years.
2?
2 years.
2 years. You haujaingiza kiatu kwa mguu?
No.
Kabisa.
Yeah.
Hii siweji unapasua hivi ukienda and you don't care.
I did that in primary. We used to carry ash to the toilet, to primary school toilets. We pour ash and you still step on it and you go home and nothing happened. What has changed now that is so different? Nothing.
That's how connected you are with Mother Nature.
Yeah, and
as much as most of the time you're just connected to the carpet.
Here, but if you find me outside, I have no shoes.
I
don't do this one for anyone. I do it for myself, for my own health. I know the importance of it.
And for the 2 years, what's the difference that it has created? What difference has it created?
I have no ache in my body. I have absolutely no ache in my body. I have nothing like gas or constipation or acidity in my body. I sleep 8 hours straight. I can do things that most people my age will not do.
So the last time you felt some crocodile on your feet was 2 years ago?
Yes. And I have, if you go to my house, I have enough shoes, but I will not wear shoes anymore. I've decided I need to educate my patients. I need to educate people that I'm not telling you to go everywhere without shoes, but I'm telling you, we need to keep putting our feet, our hands dirty in the ground, connect with Mother Nature to recharge our system.
So wherever naweza kuita we walk with you, you will not see the need to wear shoes.
No.
Do you mind where you step? Ama unatembeanga tu vile ulikuwa unatembea in school?
I just walk. I mean, we just started wearing shoes not very long time ago. If you just step back a little bit.
And you just stopped wearing shoes not very long time ago?
Yeah, because I realized they don't add value to my health. Yes, you wear shoes so that you don't get hit or pricked, right? But the damage is more. I'll give you an example. And I use my sisters, ladies. They wear shoes with pointed edges.
High heels.
And high heels.
Yes.
If you look at their toes,
yes,
they are like this. And when their toes are like this, their body is hurting. You can take that to the bank.
They are suffering.
Yes, their body is hurting.
Women are suffering up and
They will have a headache. They will have eyes problem. They will have back. They will have gas. They will have constipation. They will have knee. Their body will hurt.
But you'd rather die but still look good.
That's
I'm
what
dead,
that's
I'm
what
suffering bad.
That's what they find. They you see, it's a choice. For me, it's the same. I walk barefoot because I know the benefit of it.
So what do you feel for women in high heels when you see them walking? Because you look at them medically and you see the kind of suffering they're going through.
Well, you just know this is a patient in waiting. It's customers in waiting.
Oh, so women in high heels are customers for...
Those are customers, even men. Even men who wear these shoes, they look like I have a horn. Those are also customers in waiting.
Do you know, my daughter asked me a very weird question. I don't want to call it stupid. She asked me about the pointed shoes, whether if I wear the shoes, my feet zinafikanga huko mwisho.
Because you see, the moment, I'll give you a very simple example. When you compress your feet like this for a very long time,
yes,
and then you also wear a heel, there's a nerve in between our toe here called, there's a nerve here. There's a condition that develops there that is very painful. It's called motor neuroma.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who has suffered from that thing, and I tell them to walk barefoot, they will. Because it's agony. You have seen people in town walk like, and they're in shoes, but you can see like...
Yes.
It's basically the same thing. You have seen also ladies, their big toe is like this. When your big toe goes here, your back will hurt forever. It doesn't matter what you do, how many therapies or adjustment you get. If this one does not come back, your back will hurt.
And
continue
you're messing
hurting
with your balance.
Yes.
So when you check yourself as a human being, when you have a migraine, sometimes your head aches, there's a problem that is coming from the balance of your body and how you take care of yourself.
Yes.
Sio kitu ya kumezea Panadol sa hiyo ama painkiller sa hiyo.
I think we need to stop self-medicating. It's one thing we need. Medicine should be left for doctors.
Okay.
And we stop self-medicating, because every time you self-medicate, you always, maybe you Googled or whatever you did, you always do it for the wrong condition. You'll never do it for the right thing. Because if it was so easy for you to Google and self-medicate, there would be no need of medical schools. Yes, there would be no need. So for me, I am totally against anyone who self-medicate. You need to go and see a properly trained person to be able to help you pick the correct medication if you have to get to use.
Now, I hope you've enjoyed our healthy conversation with Dr. Hamisi, and we hope to have you in this world for longer. Maze. And talking of lasting long, just like life, equally important is your phone battery. If you like one that lasts long, check out the battery of Oppo Reno 7. Actually, check out the phone. Check out the Oppo Reno 7. That's one of the major upgrades on the Oppo Reno 7. Now, for the time nimekuwa na hii phone, by the way, sijakuwa na wasiwasi ya moto hata kidogo. It has a very capable 4500 AH battery na inakuja na a 33 watts super fast charger that fills the battery very fast. If you care about the things I've mentioned, then you need to check out the Oppo Reno 7. And this is my favorite color, by the way. Inaitwa Sunset Orange. Imekuja very rare, so maze, make sure kama ikikubamba, which I highly recommend, ikikubamba, please tafuta hii Sunset Orange kabla zijarana out of stock. Otherwise, that's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori.